Good evening, Tottenham fans. Since Tottenham's defeat against Aston Villa, I've heard many Spurs fans already turning against Thomas Frank, claiming he's a mid-table manager. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's boring. He's pragmatic, etc., etc. I'll go into it a lot more into this video of what people are actually saying. Also, they're going in on the players, basically saying that 80% of our squad is not good enough, which I completely disagree with. There is so much unrest in the Tottenham community at the moment, and it just seems like there's this little part of the Tottenham community that are so super toxic. As soon as one thing goes wrong, all of a sudden everything's bad and nothing is good at Spurs. And that's completely untrue. In this video, I just want to give you a logical response to what's actually going on and not having a knee-jerk reaction to what are only our second defeat of the season. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. On my road to 4,000 subscribers now. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to this channel and contributed to this channel. It's really much appreciated. So let's just get into this. And before I start, I understand when we have a loss, I understand the frustration. I understand that, you know, in the moment you might say a rash thing, because obviously when you lose, it is irritating. It does ruin your weekend and it does upset you. But if you just sat back and actually looked at the game, Spurs had more shots. Spurs had more shots on target. Villa literally had 2 shots on target for the whole game. And people were talking about expected goals was 0.75, expected XG, or whatever you want to call it. Villa's was 0.34, by the way. Theirs was lower. We reduced them to those 2 shots and both of them went in. 9 times out of 10, that wouldn't happen. It'd either be skied over or the keeper saves it. So for me, the game wasn't all as bad as people were saying. They were basically, there's some fans saying that Tottenham were completely rubbish in that game, and I don't think that's true either. There was a part in the second half, the first 20 minutes of the second half, where Spurs completely dominated them. And if people are strikers, which we haven't got a clinical striker in the position at the moment, if we scored our chances, we would have easily won this game, but we didn't, and that's the facts of what's happened. It's frustrating for me to read so many comments of how bad Spurs are when literally a week ago we were 3rd in the league, just beat Leeds, or 2 weeks ago, just beat Leeds, and everyone was happy with Frank. So it baffles me now, after 1 defeat, only our 2nd all season, and already people are turning on Frank. It's crazy to me, absolutely crazy. Some of the stuff they were saying, Frank got the lineup wrong. Let's have a logical look at this lineup then. He got the lineup wrong. And I will concede there's one position where I think he could have done better, but I'll explain that as well. So in goal for Cario, he's our number 1 goalkeeper. So you're going to pick him. Frank's going to pick him. Left back, your doggy's injured. The only option we've got is Spence. Picked him. Van der Ven and Romero, he picked both of them, but Romero got injured in the warm-up. So Danso comes in. Would you have picked anyone else other than Danso? Danso was exceptional against Villa, in my opinion. I think he was a brilliant performance. Porro, best right back, one of the best right backs in the league. He was picked. Paulinho, he was exceptional in the 6 role for Spurs against Aston Villa. He played a blinder. He was one of the best players on the pitch, if not the best player on the pitch. The one that's disputable is Bentancur. I agree with that maybe we should have put a progressive 8 in there. But the only progressive 8s we've got is Bergvall and Gray. Maybe Frank didn't want to put them in and wanted more experience with Bentancur. Because remember the arguments last season. We haven't got enough experience in this side. That's why we're losing games. That's what one of the narratives was. He went with the experienced midfield duo. It didn't work, but it did work in the first 5 minutes, by the way, because they combined to score the first goal. And they were playing very, very well in the first, say, 5-10 minutes, but then it just sort of petered off. But again, you know, that could be disputed. Maybe Bentancur could be disputed. We do need a progressive 8, which, you know, a ball-playing 8, but I don't think we've got that other than Bergvall. Gray can do that too, But would you have picked Bergvall or Gray over Bentancur? I would have probably gone for Bergvall. So that's disputable. Then in the 10, the amount of times I heard everybody saying, we need Xavi in the 10. Plays him in the 10. Then on the left wing, we got Odegaard. The amount of times I've heard on this channel, Johnson was awful. He doesn't impact any games. He needs to be dropped. Okay, so he's dropped Johnson. Then what's your other options on the left? Nobody wanted to see Xavi on the left, so he can't play on the left. Kulu's injured, he can't play on the left. Odegaard actually played pretty well against Leeds United and scored goals for France under-21s, so he gave him a chance. And in fact, Odegaard actually played pretty decently against Aston Villa, in my opinion. I think he was one of 3 or 4 players that were actually good on the day. So again, justified in picking Odegaard. On the right, Kudos. No one's going to complain about that. And up front, Tell. Some people were saying, why is Tell in the number 9? He's not good enough. Let's go through it. Richarlison. Absolutely dreadful for the last 5 or 6 weeks. And I've been saying it every week on this channel. So dropped Richarlison, which was the right decision. Then Mawani, not match fit to start a game, so couldn't pick him. Solanke, injured, couldn't pick him. His literal only choice was Tell, and he put him in. So when you say Frank got the lineup wrong, what else was he supposed to do? Let me in the comments know, apart from maybe changing Bentancur, what other lineup should he have gone for? Then there's this, Frank is a mid-table manager, and I predicted this months ago. I said, when things go wrong at Spurs, people will revert back to, he's used to Brentford, Tottenham's too big for him, blah, blah, blah. We've lost 2 games this season, by the way, and now people are already saying he's a mid-table manager. By the way, we're 6th in the league. If we won, we would have been 2nd in the league, by the way. And that game could have gone either way. If we put away our chances, we could have easily won that game and we would have been in 2nd. And then it's not, and I know you're going to say, oh, but we didn't, ifs and buts and maybes and all that crap. I understand that, but it could have gone either way. If you watch the game, we had more chances and better chances. We had 3 big chances to score. They didn't have any big chances. They had 0 big chances. They literally banged 2 brilliant strikes from outside the box, and credit to them for doing that. It's not easy to do that. But to say Frank's a mid-table manager already, after just 2 defeats, by the way, Liverpool have 4 defeats, is absolute crazy. Is Slot a mid-table manager now, is he? Because he's had 4 defeats. So, and now another thing was, a majority of the squad is not good enough. Okay then, so Sarr, let's go for the midfield. Sarr has had an absolute great season up until he got injured. Bergvall's been playing very, very well, in my opinion. Gray hasn't put a foot wrong in the 2 games that he's played. Bentancur's been actually pretty decent, apart from he's not a progressive midfielder, but how's that his fault? Paulina's been absolutely exceptional. Xavi is still adapting to the Premier League, so and a new team and a new country, by the way. So he's struggling at the moment, I'll give you that. Kulu Madison injured. Odegaard actually is getting better week by week. Kudos is playing absolutely amazing every single week. I think he's a brilliant player. We haven't got cohesion up front yet because we're always changing our front 4, always, and changing positions of players. I'd say Porro is a brilliant player. Spence is a great player. Udogie is a great player. Romero is a great player. Van der Ven is a great player. Question marks on Vicario and Kingsky, I'll give you that. But where's all this coming from, where the whole squad all of a sudden is rubbish? It's not. It's 6th in the Premier League. Does that mean everybody below us is rubbish and all their squad is rubbish, by the way? I think we're, if you look at it, 2 points behind Liverpool, who spent 400 million, by the way. It baffles me. Now, we lose 1 game in, like, we went on a run, we're not losing for 7 games. And then we lose 1 game. And now this whole squad is not good enough. It's a ridiculous statement. And it's a toxicity in this Spurs fan base. By a small minority of them, by the way. Not everyone. There's a lot of decent Spurs fans. But it gets bloodied by this horrible fan base that hates every Spurs player, hates every manager that comes in. It really annoys me. They don't give nobody time. No players time. Nothing. I criticise Richarlison quite often, So I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. But Richarlison's been here for 3 years, and I've seen nothing from that guy. Nothing. Like, he went on a run scoring some goals at one stage, but that's it, in 3 years. But when you get new players coming in and young players coming in, they seem to get criticised after about 3 games. It's crazy to me. It's absolute crazy. When people are saying Frank's football is boring, we've scored 14 goals in 8 games. It's not like we don't score goals either. And all of our goals, majority of them, over 80-something%, has been from open play. People were saying we're just playing for free kicks and corners. Most of our goals are from open play. I just look at the stats. You only have to Google this sort of stuff. It's not hard. Fans are turning on Frank already. And when I said to one of the fans, I said, how can you turn on Frank this early already when we're 6th in the league and only lost twice? What's your reason? They said, I didn't want him in the first place. And I was like, well, where were you when we were 3rd in the league then? Did you come out and say Frank was doing well? You didn't. You just waited for Frank to fail before you... Well, he's not even failed. That's the problem. You're waiting for him to lose a game and then you start coming out saying, I warned you about Frank. He's crap. How? It's weird. And then... someone said as well, Enoch and Co, this is another one, I've got to read it to you. Enoch and Co have to put their money in January to get us out of this mess. Huh? What mess? We're not in a mess. We're 6th place and lost 2 games. We're not in a mess. We lost a game that we could have and should have won, to be honest. Yes, maybe we shouldn't have played so... defensively with 2 number 6s. I agree with that. That's the one thing maybe he didn't get right. But to say that we're in a mess, 6th... Did you not see last season? We were 17th last season. Lost 22 games. And now people are complaining because we lost 2 games. Have we got to win every single game? Every single game before you'll say a manager is decent enough to stay at Spurs. Because there's not one manager in the whole of history of football that wins every single game. It's impossible. Nobody will do that. And when people don't want to listen to this, what I'm saying, people don't want to hear it. They want to watch these channels that speak only crap about these players and these managers. I won't do that. And the reason why I bring this channel out in the first place is to say, stop with this toxicity all the time. Like, I understand last season, like, I was backing Ange last season because of the horrendous amount of injuries. At one stage, he had 9 or 10 first teamers out of the squad. Yeah, and then playing twice per week. So I understood it was going to be very, very difficult to win many games. But I understood also why people were angry watching us lose week on, week on, week on. So I understood that. But actually turning on a manager that's only lost twice, I don't understand that at all. I can't get on board with it. I really can't. That's rant over for me for today. But honestly, please, it's not as bad as everyone's making out. And... you know, if we lose the next 4, then maybe I'll start agreeing with you or maybe start seeing other things that maybe I can't see now because I'm not the oracle. I don't know everything. But just in my opinion, we really should not be turning on the manager already. Not this early. Really shouldn't be. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's video. What do you think of today's subjects? Thank you for watching and come on, you Spurs.